Welcome back to Action Figure Obsession. It's me, your old pal, Avian and Loaded, and this is episode number 117. And I apologize for wrecking episode 116. If you came to that one late to the party, I tried to do a quick edit with that one and ended up cutting off the first half of the video because I'm very new at this and I wasn't paying attention, and yeah, I screwed that up. So you do get to see the whole X-Men collection towards the end of it when I go over all the shelves again, I believe. But I do apologize to anybody who tuned into that, and I am going to try to make it up with an X-Men week sometime in the near future, where you'll get a much better look at my X-Men collection because it's four shelves, I think, and there's a lot of good figures there, a lot of good characters, and tried to show them off today, but the lighting wasn't working very well, and the whole thing was just kind of a mess anyway. And then I went and screwed up and threw out half of it. So, and apparently there's no way to retrieve it. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next action figure obsession subject, which is what can an action figure obsession do to someone who isn't even interested in professional wrestling? Well, somehow you can end up with action figures of professional wrestlers or that appear to be inspired by professional wrestlers, or again, another one who actually is a professional wrestler. So, when I was a little kid growing up in Florida, my family lived in Florida in the mid to late 1970s. And professional wrestling was very big down there. The regional wrestling, professional wrestling, WWF at the time, I believe, I think it was happening at that time, or whatever the predecessor of the WWF would have been in like 1975, 1978, 1979, that whole era there. But I can remember a lot of, I do remember seeing some Sergeant Slaughter. I do remember seeing Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was very popular at the time, and I think he was my favorite. Um, but I lost interest in professional wrestling not long after leaving Florida because the northeastern United States isn't quite as obsessed with the whole kayfabe aspect of pro wrestling and all that. So if you'd said to me that I was going to have a handful of action figures that were either actual professional wrestlers or made you think of professional wrestlers, I would have thought you were crazy. But then I was looking around the toy room and I'm like, oh, I got a whole bunch of these guys. In fact, I already put them back, but two of my Spawn figures, as viewer Dr. Witty Banter pointed out, the first concept design Spawns, the red and the blue one from Todd McFarlane's initial design back in 1977, they look like they were inspired by professional wrestlers in their Lucha Libre outfits. So I guess to try to figure out chronologically which was the first one that I had of these wrestling and wrestling adjacent figures, I'm going to pick out the Marvel Legends Rage here. I think he might be the oldest. Well, that Bane figure I think is a reissue from the long ago. Sorry, Rage. His feet do not want to stick to the floor. There we go. Rage was a member of the 1990s comic superhero group, the Marvel Comics superhero group, the New Warriors, which is not a comic that I ever read, but one of my favorite characters, the Scarlet Spider, was a member of the New Warriors for a time, and a couple other characters that I liked too from the Avengers, Justice and Firestar. So I was sort of aware of the New Warriors. The creative team on that was not a creative team, the writer and artist that I was at all interested in, and didn't really have a lot of faith that it was going to be any good. But I think this is a nice character design, this Rage costume, outfit, whatever you want to call it. He looks like a professional wrestler, right? He's got his Lucha Libre mask, and he looks pretty tough. I really don't have much to say about him other than the fact that I really like the character design. I love the mask. I love the yellow and black. This is the same sort of vest that they gave the Thunderstrike figure, who was kind of a knockoff of Thor. And I think we've seen this vest on a couple other figures too. I think this is the only one where it has that splash of color on it, that little bit of yellow. And I think what it's missing, I think it's supposed to say Rage on the back of it, but of course, Hasbro is famous for not painting the backs of figures. You know, that's one place where they love to cheap out. In terms of when I acquired them, the most recent one after Rage would be this Sergeant Slaughter. This is the G.I. Joe Classified Series Sergeant Slaughter. This is one of, I think, 5 or 6 that I have in my collection. This is an eminently kit bashable figure because his neck peg is the same size as Marvel Legends neck pegs. He was made before G.I. Joe Classified started using these smaller neck ball pegs for the necks. I'm realizing his hat is very dusty. I almost did a video about characters that wear hats. Let's see if I can. Sometimes the hat is sculpted on for the figure. All right, Sarge, hang in there. I'm going to screw everything up here. I just know it. Yep, he's losing his gun. There we go. All right. Yeah. Only I had a tripod. Anyway, yeah, his hat comes off. Here it is, his cover, as they say, also known as his campaign hat. And while I have it off, I'm just going to take this opportunity to get the dust off of it. Robert Remus, real name, his wrestling name Sergeant Slaughter, one of the most popular wrestlers at the beginning of his career. And then his character took a heel turn, and I think during the Gulf War, if I recall correctly, and he supposedly was on the side of the Iraqis, and a lot of people seem to hate him for that, even though he was just playing a character, indulging in a little wrestling kayfabe, and I don't know, sometimes they take it a little too seriously, but in the 80s, he also, maybe that was... Yeah, I'm getting my timeline a little screwed up, but what's important is this is Sergeant Slaughter from the G.I. Joe Classified series. Sergeant Slaughter joined G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero, as a voice actor, and his character joined the Joes on the cartoon, the animated series, I think it with the second season, if I recall correctly. And the whole reason why I became interested in this figure and in his character was because I was in a comic shop in Scotia, New York one day, and the owner had a TV on that was playing old episodes of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, and there was this scene where Sergeant Slaughter showed up and just totally waded into a group of killer robots. And for the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to hold him like this so he looks like he's the same size as Sergeant Slaughter, because I don't have my Battle Android Trooper, the 6-inch Battle Android Trooper in real life. This is just my little 3 3/4 inch one. But Sergeant Slaughter waded into a crowd of these killer robots in the scene that was playing on the TV from the animated G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero cartoon. And it was hilarious, and it was dramatic, and it was awesome. And that one scene convinced me that I needed to own a Sergeant Slaughter action figure, and Hasbro very soon thereafter obliged me. And as I say, it's a fantastic figure. The articulation on him is great. The shelf presence is great. The sunglasses are great. They did a reissue of this where he is in a blue costume or outfit, same outfit, but it's just blue and green. And the sunglasses suck on that one. They don't stay on his head like these do. The tolerances are right on everything here, on the hat, on the glasses. They all work together to stay in place. Very, very nice, and that is very unusual with action figures, especially Hasbro. But he's got his little whistle there that comes off if you want it to. He's got the hat, he's got the sunglasses, and he comes with some other stuff as well. Swagger stick. What else does he come with? He comes with a little... I should have dug it out. I feel so bad now. It's in my fodder bin. Actually, many of them are in my fodder bin, like 6 or 7 of them, because I've bought quite a lot of this figure. But he comes with his own action figure that fits in his hand, like those mini comics that I've shown you. Yeah, I thought I had one of those comics. Oh, here it is right here. So he has... sort of like you see this comic book here that's action figure sized, so it like is scaled to him. He comes with his own action figure of Sergeant Slaughter. So I have done photo shoots where he's like set up at a convention using the interrogation room table and chair, where he's at a convention selling his own action figures, because I have like 6 of those at least. And that's, that's hilarious to me. So Sergeant Slaughter is a genuine real life professional wrestler. I don't know if he still actually performs or not in wrestling, but certainly he was for many years a professional wrestler, and for at least a little while a popular professional wrestler. So I'm including him in this video of wrestling and wrestling adjacent characters. Now, Bane was a recent birthday gift from my daughter-in-law, and I was just like, how did you know? Because I didn't know anybody knew that I liked Bane. It wasn't really something that I had ever talked about, and I love this look for Bane. I love his little venom tube going from his wrist to the back of his head, powering him up with his evil super juice, whatever it is that powers Bane. This is the version from, I believe, Batman: The New Adventures. It's just a really sharp looking figure. And I love the fact that the serum that he uses to bolster his strength is called Venom. And he has a little trouble standing up on his own, so I put him on this Mezco Destro flight stand. And, that's the Cobra logo. So see Cobra, Venom, Cobra, Venom. Understand? It all makes sense if you think about it. The last two are the only two that I own that are actual real professional wrestling action figures made by companies that make professional wrestling action figures. Okay, they are, I think, 7-inch scale, although the one on the left is a little taller than the one on the right. If you're at all into comics and action figures, you may recognize the guy on the right. That is Danhausen. He has a wonderful channel, a very nice, very evil channel here on YouTube. I think it's just Danhausen. If you do a search on your YouTube, searching machine, Danhausen. He is a character, and he is hilarious, but he is also as serious as you can be anyway, professional wrestler. And his whole kayfabe gimmick is that he is a normal human who has been possessed by some extraterrestrial, interdimensional alien who doesn't really understand humans, and he carries a bag of human teeth with him, or a bottle of human teeth, into the ring, and he'll throw his human teeth around. It's a very ritualistic, very strange thing. But his channel, he actually reviews action figures and talks about comics and things like that occasionally. It's not just wrestling. He is very, very funny. He is a funny man. And an absolute delight. And when I found this isn't the best Danhausen action figure there is. There was a much better one with his more traditional costume. I never got my hands on that one, but I could not resist getting this one because Danhausen is, without question, after Sergeant Slaughter, one of my favorite professional wrestlers of all time. I just love me some Danhausen. All right, there was a very loud truck that just went by. Now, the last professional wrestler figure that we're going to look at here is a guy named Zero. And I forget, there's more to his name, and I apologize for not knowing it. He is a Mexican wrestler, and this is a fabulous look. And his action figure was a deluxe figure, and I think it was $50 originally. And when it came out, I looked at it because the deluxe professional wrestling figures come with a ton of accessories, and sometimes they're very interesting looking. And I had kind of had my eye on this anyway, just because he's so colorful and interesting looking. And one day I was in Walmart with my wife in Rutland, Vermont, and he was on clearance for $12. And so I grabbed him and I brought him home. And I can't tell you really anything about him other than I know the word Zero is in his name. So I just call him Zero. And I love his costume. I love how colorful it is. Can you imagine Hasbro doing something like this? I don't know if this is Jakks Pacific or Mattel, or I wonder if it's on the bottom of his feet or something. Yeah, I can't tell what that says. I have no idea who made this figure, which manufacturer it is, which company it is. If you are into professional wrestling figures, you probably are laughing at me because I don't know. But again, it's an action figure obsession. I became obsessed with how good this figure looked. I never would have bought it for $50, but when it was on sale for $12, I had to stop myself from buying two. And he did come with a slew of accessories, but this is the way that I put him together. This is the look I like for him. all the tattoos, just an absolute beautiful paint job on this guy from head to toe. Just a stunning figure, and I just call him Zero. I know there's more to his name, but he's Zero in my book, and I've often thought he could be like a Spider-Man villain that was originally a Mexican wrestler or something like that. So he definitely, I found a way to justify having a place for Zero in my action figure collection. So there you have it. Two current, I believe, professional wrestlers. There on the far left. One, at least former professional wrestler. I don't think Sergeant Slaughter actually wrestles anymore. But on the far right there, a beautiful G.I. Joe classified figure of Sergeant Slaughter. I believe he was number 35 in the line. I could be wrong. It's in the 30s, I think. But if you can get this original one at a decent price, it is a great figure. Absolutely flawless. I had no QC issues with it whatsoever. The hat works, the glasses work, and and he comes with an AK-74 too, which people are mystified by. Why he would have a weapon that probably should be in the hands of Cobra, but my headcanon for that is real simple: is that he took it from somebody from Cobra, smacked him in the head with the buttstock, and kept it to go on his merry way shooting up Cobra guys. So that's a look at my professional wrestling and wrestling adjacent action figures here on Action Figure Obsession. That was Sergeant Slaughter, and Rage from Marvel's New Warriors, and Bane from Batman: The New Adventures, and the very nice, very evil Danhausen, and Zero. And who wouldn't want to see a cage match with all these guys going at it? That would be, yeah, I don't really want to see that. Because like I said, I don't really care about professional wrestling, but I do like these figures, and I'm delighted to have them all in my collection. Thanks for watching this action figure obsession video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you find out when I do new videos. And if you did enjoy it, please recommend it to your friends that like action figures or professional wrestling or people who have obsessive compulsive disorder and can't help but buy stuff because the buzzing in the back of their head won't stop until they do. And that's how, even though I'm not a wrestling fan, I ended up with 5 wrestling and wrestling adjacent action figures. Thanks for joining me for this action figure obsession outing, and we will see you on the next one.